let's get producer Brandon Combs in here for a little NBA playoff push questionnaire. Combs, what's going on?
What's going on, boys? Great weekend, sports smorgasbord of everything. I'd be careful though with the saying that the White Sox might get their first win. I thought that yesterday when they were up 7-2 on Milwaukee in the 8th, and they end up losing that damn game. So I'd be careful when we talk about the White Sox maybe getting a win. All right, let's talk some NBA though, boys. Is the Western Conference far superior to the Eastern Conference? Because it sure as hell looks like that. Brad?
Yes, it is. I have said it time and time again right here on BetMGM tonight. I believe the West is indeed the best. I know you're on the San Antonio Spurs bandwagon. My friend behind me, for those of you watching the YouTube stream right now, David Robinson, the Admiral, agrees. Got the Church's Chicken signed little 5x8 there permanently on the studio wall here at Casa de Evans. And the Spurs right now, you look over the last 15 games, they're number 1 in the NBA in net efficiency. Oklahoma City is at number 4. The LA Lakers have been white hot for the most part here down the stretch. I mean, they've won 13 of the last 15 games. They're number 7 in net efficiency. Whoever wins the West this year, guys, I've said this before, I'm going to quadruple down on the belief, or they're going to win the NBA Finals. Could be San Antonio, could be OKC, could be the Lake Show, could be somebody else. It won't make a damn bit of difference. The East, I know Pat's beloveds, the Knicks, may be in the NBA Finals. Certainly one of the teams to beat on the right coast, but the left coast is going to dominate in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I am a diehard New York Knicks fan, but I still think the Thunder are going to repeat as champions, and the West is just so much deeper. 1 through 6 in the West versus 1 through 6 in the East. Like, the Raptors are an afterthought. In my opinion, the Cavaliers are an afterthought. James Harden's not changing anything about this team's calculus and how far they could go in the postseason. So, again, I got a feeling we might have a question about how many teams can actually win the NBA title, but there are way more that can do it in the West than there are in the East. And so, yeah, the Western Conference, they just have way too many. They have so many very solid, legit squads. So, yeah, the West is more superior because it's deeper.
Not often do you hear a team be called an afterthought the day after they win a game by 52 points. Which is what the Toronto Raptors did to the Orlando Magic yesterday. It was incredible to watch. I think Toronto is a team in the East that can be sneaky. Same way I think Charlotte is a team in the East that can be sneaky, but they're only sneaky in the East. The Western Conference is, to me, it goes Thunder, Spurs, everybody else. That's just the way that it is right now. It's either the Thunder or the Spurs. Whoever wins that matchup between those two in the playoffs is winning the NBA title. All right. Other than the top 4 teams, which we just mentioned, OKC, the Spurs, the Pistons, the Celtics, does anyone have a legit chance to win an NBA title? Pat Boyle, we'll start with you because I think there might be somebody you want to throw in the mix.
Yeah, blasphemy. You didn't even include my New York Knicks, who made the conference finals last year. They've got the same core as last season. Why can't the Knicks win the NBA championship? Why wouldn't they be a legit threat? I mean, they're 48-27. They've beaten, like last year, the Knicks can't win a title. They were 0-10 against the Thunder and the Celtics and the Cavaliers, all the other best teams in the NBA. And the Knicks have won the season series against Boston. They beat the Spurs in the NBA Cup championship. They've beaten the Lakers multiple times. They've crushed the Nuggets. They haven't beaten the Thunder. They went 0-2 against the Thunder, but both those games came down to the last 2 minutes. So, the Knicks can absolutely, they have a legit chance to win an NBA title. And then, look, I'm not going to assume in my head that there's going to be like ruptured Achilles tendons for all the superstars like there was last year. I mean, injuries are a part of the game, but just on paper, I still think there's other teams that have a legit chance to win the NBA title. I mean, this is still the same Nuggets core that won a title a couple of years ago. You have Jokic and Jamal Murray. You have a legit chance to win the NBA title. Absolutely. The way the Lakers have played here down the stretch, they've won 14 out of their last 16 games. Yeah, the Lakers have a legit chance to win the title. So I would say there's at least 3 other teams outside of the top 4 records in the NBA that can win a title this year. No doubt. There's 7 or 8 teams, honestly. I'll even throw the Timberwolves in that equation because they've been to back-to-back conference finals. And Anthony Edwards, as much as of a critic I've been of his sometimes, that's because he's raised the bar to, borderline top 5 player in the game. So yeah, there's 7 or 8 teams that can win a title this year.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I might whittle that list down to like 5 or so, maybe 6. I don't know if I'm going to expand it to 7 or 8. But hell, even the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, that sounds outrageous, right? The Atlanta Hawks even being in contention, but they're going to be a playoff team, and they're white stinking hot, guys, right now. If you look at what the Hawks have done, they're number 2, trailing only San Antonio in overall net efficiency over the last 15 games, in which they've won 13 of those 15. So they continue to breathe fire here in the NBA postseason. Hell, man, you never know. The Atlanta Hawks could be in the mix when it's all said and done. Again, my list not as big and as expansive as Pat's, but certainly at least 5-6 teams in the discussion.
I'm so certain the Atlanta Hawks will not win a title that if they do win a title, I will pay an all-expense trip for the entire staff for us to go to Magic City to go celebrate the Hawks title.
Whoa!
Lemon pepper wings for everybody!
That's how certain I am. The Atlanta Hawks will not win a title. All right. In the East, just 3.5 games separate the 5 through 10 seeds. Currently, Toronto is the 5 seed, and Atlanta's the 6 seed. Do both of these teams finish as the 5 and 6 seeds, or is at least one of these teams a play-in team? Brad?
Yeah, Atlanta's going to definitely finish above the play-in line. You look at Toronto in terms of their recent play. I mean, they're the one team you got to worry about. They're kind of ho-hum, wildly mediocre, number 12 in overall net efficiency. They're 8-7 in the last 15. They're playing just kind of average or slightly above average basketball. So if there is one to regress, I would say it's the Raptors. But again, Atlanta, folks, they're number 2 in net efficiency the last 15, and once they won 13 in the last 15, they are peaking at the right time. I could see them jumping a line, and that being Toronto's in the end. So I would say the Raptors, the one most likely to descend and reach play-in status, but I think Atlanta's going to avoid it.
I think both of them are going to be play-in teams because, again, I think the Raptors are an afterthought. Yes, they did crush the Magic by 52 points yesterday. That's another play-in team, the Orlando Magic. But, no, look, the Raptors, they finished. They play Detroit tomorrow, which winnable game with no Cade Cunningham. I don't think they'll win it. Detroit basically is sitting all their starters tonight against OKC, so I think that's a game that they will be rested and revved up to go for tomorrow. They still have to play the Celtics. They got to play my Knicks, and they got to play the Heat twice. I don't think the Raptors, who only have 1 game cushion on the Sixers, are going to avoid the play-in tournament. And I don't think the Hawks are going to do it either. I know they've been red hot. Brad made a lot of great points. The Hawks have been awesome. They're 13-3 or 14-3 in their last 17 games here. But they also have a tough schedule to finish. They got to play the Celtics. They got to play my Knicks. They got to play the Cavs twice. They got to play the Heat. And they got to play the Magic. So I think the Sixers, and look, nothing would really do my heart joy more than to see the Sixers crash and burn, but they got Embiid back for now. Maxi's back. Paul George's suspension is over. They've won both their games since those 3 guys have come back here. I think the Sixers get into the top 6, and then I'm holding out hope. They're running out of time, but I'm holding out hope my Charlotte Hornets, my little stepbrother this year, the Charlotte Hornets can make one final run here. Maybe they go 7-1 or 6-1 to finish the season, and they got to play the Nets. They play the Pacers. Then they do finish with the T-Wolves, Celtics, Pistons, and Knicks. But maybe the top 3 seeds will be locked up at that point. Those teams will have nothing to play for. Those are a couple of gimme wins for the Hornets. Maybe they sneak in. I definitely think Toronto doesn't finish in the top 6. They're going to be in the play-in tournament, but it wouldn't shock me either if Atlanta ends up there as hot as they've been. I think the Hornets and the Sixers can sneak in.
That's interesting. All right. Let's go to this one. Assuming nothing changes, which current Western Conference first-round playoff matchup will be the most intriguing to you? Is it OKC versus whoever wins the 8 seed, San Antonio versus whoever wins the 7 seed, Lakers versus Rockets, or Nuggets versus T-Wolves? Most intriguing first-round matchup. Pat?
Nuggets T-Wolves for me. Look, I mean, you got legacies on the line there. Jokic and Murray in this current core of the Denver Nuggets, which feels like they might be another year or so away from like breaking that thing up, whatever it is, one way or another. You know, remember they fired Mike Malone last year with just a couple of games left to go in the season, and then they put up a hell of a fight against the Thunder and sent him to a Game 7. So that's the champs from a couple of years ago versus Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves. The Ant-Man, he's gotten to the conference finals each of the past 2 seasons. Feels like he's got to start breaking through, right? If people want to think he's going to be the face of the league. So that is, I mean, one of those teams going to go home in the first round. That almost seems unfair, but that's the nature of the beast. So Nuggets T-Wolves for me, hell of a first round matchup.
Yeah, I think the Lakers and Rockets also check that box, man. You want to talk about legacy? It's all about LeBron, right? And we've been talking about how it was stinking hot, how ridiculous that Luka Doncic has played here down the stretch. Houston's been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. I think that would be highly entertaining as a opening matchup in the NBA postseason. So mark me down for the Lake Show for somebody rocking boots. I had to do it. H-Town.
Combs, you got an input?
Yeah, for me, it's the Nuggets and T-Wolves as well. I think both of those teams have a legit shot to be a threat that could possibly knock off one of the top 2 seeds in that Western Conference at some point in the playoffs. So I think Nuggets T-Wolves is the most intriguing to me.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Suns or the Clippers versus the Thunder because both those teams are going to get blown off the map.